My name is Jared Ellison, and for most of my marriage to Talia, I was nothing but a placeholder. A steady, forgettable man she could mold into whatever she needed, until something better came along. That was the dynamic she preferred. Someone who wouldn't overshadow her shine. When we first met at that neighborhood block party, I let her believe what she wanted. I kept my background private. My father's empire, the multi-billion-dollar Ellison Holdings, remained a carefully guarded secret. I'd spent years watching trust erode when people learned what my last name meant. My father always warned me, "They'll see your net worth before they see you." So I kept quiet, choosing instead to live in the shadows of my own legacy. Talia liked that. She liked the idea that I worked in logistics, middle management at best, someone who knew how to order supplies and talk to truckers, but didn't know how to handle the big deals. She liked the idea that she was the ambitious one, the one with the connections and the Instagrammable brunches. She liked the attention she got when she wore her designer shoes to the office parties. Attention I funded without question. She liked my silence, because she mistook it for insecurity. And maybe in the beginning it was. Maybe I thought I was protecting us by keeping my name out of the headlines and my wealth out of reach. But with every dinner party she planned, every reservation she made, at restaurants I paid for, I saw her hunger for more. More than I could be in her eyes. She wanted a husband who reflected the power she pretended to wield. She wanted a man with a title that carried weight in every room, a name that would get her seated at the right table, and I let her believe I was just another face in the crowd, someone who would be grateful for the scraps of her attention. She underestimated me. She always did. The truth was, I never needed the trappings of status to feel like a man. My father raised me to understand. Respect couldn't be bought. It had to be earned. The best lessons weren't learned in board meetings, but at 3 a.m., in the quiet hum of the old warehouse floors, where my father taught me the rhythm of business like it was a heartbeat. When you know what it means to build something from scratch, you don't need to flaunt it. But Talia never understood that. To her, everything was about appearances. She needed the illusion of success to validate her existence. I watched it happen slowly. The way she leaned into the lifestyle I gave her. The way she arranged her friends like accessories on her social media. The way she craved Lucy and Marlowe's attention. Then, he appeared. At that gala, shiny, polished, the perfect combination of name and game. The son of a former president. An easy ticket to the kind of power she thought she deserved. I saw the shift in her eyes the moment he introduced himself. How her posture straightened, her voice softened. Her smile stretched a little too wide. I knew then my days as her husband were numbered. It didn't matter that I'd given her everything she asked for. The condo with the rooftop view, the leased Mercedes she drove like a status symbol, the diamond bracelet she posted on Instagram with a caption about how hard work pays off. I'd given her a life she couldn't have built on her own, but she didn't see it that way. She saw a man who worked in logistics, someone who blended in, someone who wasn't enough. And so, when Lucian Marlowe came along with his smooth talk and his promise of the world on a platinum platter, she didn't hesitate to trade up, at least in her mind. When the text came, it was a single line that cut deeper than any lawyer's letter could. I found someone who matches my ambition. Like I was just a stepping stone on her way to a better future. Like I'd never mattered. I remember staring at that screen, the words blurring as the anger hit me. Not because she left. I'd felt that coming for months. No. It was the cold finality of it. The way she discarded me like a broken toy she'd grown tired of. That's what hurt the most. I didn't respond. I didn't beg. I didn't even ask why. Because deep down, I already knew the answer. I'd always known. She wasn't interested in me. She was interested in the idea of me. The image of stability I projected. The safe harbor. Until something flashier came along. And that's what she found in Lucian Marlowe. The flash, the connections, the photos that would make her mother proud. I'd spent too long playing the man she thought I was. The man who let her take everything and ask for more. But what she didn't know, what she never took the time to understand, was that I was never that man. I was more than a last name, more than a paycheck. I was the heir to an empire my father built with grit and iron will, and I'd spent years preparing to carry it forward. I'd spent nights at the office, studying ledgers and blueprints, learning every inch of the family. Business from the bottom up. I knew what it took to lead, to protect, to build. I wasn't a placeholder. I was the future she never thought to look for. I deleted her message, closed my phone, and stood by the window of the apartment she decorated with her designer taste. I let the city lights blur into a watercolor of neon and regret. She'd chosen her path. She'd chosen her partner, and I would let her have it. Because soon, very soon, she'd realize the man she thought I was only a fraction of the man I actually am. And when that day came, I wouldn't have to say a word. She'd see it for herself. She'd thought it would carry her to the top. And by then, I'd be so far beyond her reach that even if she wanted to come back, she'd find nothing but the echo of a man who'd learned the power of his own silence. And in that silence, I found a strength I didn't know I had, a clarity, a purpose. I was no longer the man she thought I was. I was the man my father had always believed I could be, and that was more than enough. The elevator ride to the executive wing of Ellison. Holdings felt longer than usual that morning. Maybe it was the weight of the file folder in my hand, an updated strategy document my father had asked me to review. Or maybe it was the memory of Talia's text echoing in my head. Her words, as cold as the platinum ring she'd taken off. Without a second thought. Either way, the air in that steel box felt different, charged with something electric and unspoken. I leaned against the mirrored wall, watching my own reflection. Calm, collected, unreadable. I'd perfected that look over years of playing the man no one expected. The man who let others assume. When the doors finally opened, I stepped out into the reception area of the top floor. A space that had always felt like a kingdom in itself. With its high ceilings and marble floors, the city skyline laid out like a chessboard beyond the glass walls. I knew every inch of this place. I'd spent my childhood wandering these halls with my father, learning which door